Welcome, I'm Diane Yellow Light, a certified psychic. Today, I'm going to talk about how we can communicate better with each other. Communication skills is something that we have to practice throughout our lifetime. A lot of times when we want to learn to communicate, our emotions are out of balance. We're either angry, we're upset, we're sad, we're crying, we're frustrated, excited, and fearful. A lot of times when we're in these emotions, we're not able to have the statements that are not accusations. Anytime we start out a confrontation, which people do not like confrontations, people do not like commitment, but is part of the process of the earth walk in life. We have got to learn to speak up, speak our truth, be true to self, as well as understanding and compassionate for the other. Most of the times we can see what others are not doing, that they should be doing, could be doing, would be doing, which is, by the way, parental words. And when you do use them with people, if you're not using them in the right context, you're going to create them to react, which always has some kind of emotion attached to it, instead of responding. An example would be, say for example, someone's always late. And lateness is something that is considered rude. It does kind of show the other person that you don't respect them, especially if they're on time waiting for you. Things do happen. The best thing that you can do is learn to allow yourself a time frame. With most people, a lot of times people will say on that subject, I'll see you at 10. Well, it's better to say I'll see you between 10 and 10:15 or 10 and 10:30. No one really gets too upset if you're 10 or 15 minutes early, but if you're 5 minutes late, people get upset. It seems like it means a reflection upon them in some way. It doesn't, but that is how it comes across to the human psyche. So when you go to pinpoint something, be flexible. Leave yourself a leeway of time for anything that can happen. Okay, so now we get back to communicating. So this is a subject where it's really irritating to somebody. They're always late. So how do you confront or present, basically, instead of confront, a person with their time issue? You first of all have to be in a calm state. Usually it's best to have this not be an irritant within you. It's usually best that the other person be more relaxed as well. So sometimes we can't really deal with it, or we don't really deal with those things, and it's best not to deal with those situations when any kind of emotions on either side in the situation are going on. So you take a time and you reflect and you remember, I statements, not you, is very important. A lot of times we do the accusations. You are always late. Okay, that may be true. But the best thing to say, there's lots of ways, but the best thing to say that you can do is, I'm having a difficulty with the time issue between us. I feel that you're disrespecting me when you run late, and I would prefer that we can work out some solution as to how it works for the both of us. Now in that scenario, the solution could be to give yourself the 15 or half an hour leeway, time way. Or, because it's really hard to be precise today with a lot of the things that are going on in our busy world, so that would be one of them. So the conversation would kind of go like, when you're late, I feel as if I'm being rejected and disrespected. I would prefer that we could work out this issue of our time situation. What can I do to help you to understand the importance of time for me? Now the other person, the time issue may mean nothing. And the other person will say, I hear what you're saying. It's very important to say that so people can be acknowledged. A lot of times in our conversation, somebody will say something to us and they don't respond. We don't know if they've heard us or not. So then when we turn around and say, did you hear me? The other person said yes, okay, because they're irritated because they did hear you. However, the person that was talking doesn't know that. So it's best that we keep our communication clear and simple. So you go back to saying your statements, and the other person can say, yes, I do have problems with the time issue. It seems no matter if I get up a half an hour early or an hour early, I always have something that comes up that gets in the way. So I will do my best to work on this. And if you have to, give yourself more time. And if you get there 10, 15, 20 minutes early, then it's a surprise to the other person and everybody's happy. So on that one issue of just time, that's how you handle it. But it's always a statement of, I feel, and a statement of, I do have a complication or a situation with whatever the issue is. I do hear what you're saying, and I can see how you feel that way. Now, it may not be your feelings and how you feel, but it's the other person's feelings, and we need to respect other people's feelings. When we don't, that's where we get into trouble, and that's why we have complications in communication. And then we start with you said, he said, she said, we said, they said, whatever you're saying, and it ends up causing conflict and feelings of rejection, hurt, misunderstanding, etc. So again, it's I statements and I preferences. I would prefer if we could work out something to where you could be here when you stay. I would prefer that we work out a situation with the time issue because it's really important to me. These are the statements that you do. You have to state and you have to show the importance, and you have to request the preference. If you stay within these parameters, then you will be able to work out scenarios in your relationships and your communication skills with all. If you just start out with this little simple formula. The one is taking the time at the right time and right place with no emotions heavy activated. If you've got emotions about it and you present it to the person, then you need to talk it out with yourself, talk it out with a friend, or write it out, do whatever you do till you take the emotions about it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find out that it was an issue somewhere in your early childhood. Either you were made to be on time, or you were always accused of being late, so you've learned to be. There's lots of reasons. It's up to you to figure out what those reasons are and let them go and become into the present moment of what your situation is about. So if I was in a scenario of a situation where I was being affecting another person that wasn't making them happy, then I would state that, say I'm the one always late, and the person says to me, when you're late, I feel rejected. And rejection makes me feel as if you don't care. I know you care, it's just that it is something that is pertinent to me and to be on time. The other person can say, I do apologize, or I am sorry. I can see this is important to you. I know I do have an issue with time. I am working on that. I will continue to work on that, and I will make an arrangement with you. Instead of me being here at 10 o'clock on the dot, how about if I say I'll see you between 10 and 10:30? By all means, make sure you make your statements. The other person will say, okay, I can live with that. Once you make that commitment, stay true to it. If you should find out that there is a complication that comes up and you're going to be later than between 10 and 10:30, and I'm just using that as a time, then you need to text, call, or make contact with that person to let them know. A lot of time people do get excited when they get to see people, and apprehensive as well, and also people get concerned. So there's lots of reasons why people can be high emotions when you walk through the door wherever you're meeting them. So it's important that you take a look at your conversation skills and start out with, if you're having the issue, I feel when this goes on that this does this to me, and I would prefer if we could work this out. What can we do to make this situation better between us? And I do know on some level you can understand what I'm saying. Then the other person would need to say, I hear what you're saying. I apologize for being late in doing that, or the situation. I will work on that. What would be workable for you? Listen. Then what would be workable for myself? Then you listen. And between the two, you make a compromise. That's going along with co-creating in our life. We have got to get back to co-creating. Nobody's giving up one over the other. Both are bending, becoming flexible. Keep that pattern going, and it'll help you become on time, or whatever your situation is, with other people. That's going to help your communication skills, and at the end of the day, you'll feel a lot better that you have been heard. And also, when you have been erred, you will know that you have been, and you have the opportunity to correct anything. A lot of times we go on and on and on, and we build up, and then we boom over something very simple, and the other person is perplexed, and then when we try to go back and figure out where it started, it gets lost. So if you can stay in the present, in the now, with your conversational skills, and do I statements with self, no you statements, no you said, you did, you were, that is what's going to lead you into parental, and parental make children feel like they're controlled, or authoritative, which is still parental, is going to feel controlled. Anybody that feels controlled is not going to respond, they're going to rebel. So if you wonder why you're not getting anywhere in your conversational skills with each other, take a look at your conversations. The best thing you could ever do is get a tape recorder or some kind of device, I'm sure you have it on your phone, and set that on when you're having a conversation with somebody, and then you can hear what it's all about. You can also practice that way so you can hear what you sound like. Most people don't even know how they sound when they're talking to other people. This is important because if you don't comprehend how you sound to other people, you'll never understand what they're trying to convene to you about what's going on. So it's important to take that step. Once you take that step, you can hear if you have inflection in your voice that's high, strong, powerful, hurting, or if your reflection is whiny, victimization, or your reflection is hopelessness, despair, poor me. There's so many scenarios. We fall into all of them because we're human. However, we do have certain traits that we carry and repeat over and over. It's the same thing. History repeats itself, so does the human soul. So do our conversations. So I know each and one of you can go above and beyond your circumstances. I ask that you do so. Start out with communication skills, and you're going to find yourself on the road to recovery in these troubled times that will help you throughout your day with all kinds of people and contacts that you have. I wish all of you the best. I know that you can go above and beyond this. I ask you to do so. And until next time, I'll be talking to you again on other subjects that's going to help us all to co-create in this new century that we are in. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.